Good morning, everybody. It is Holy Wednesday, Spy Wednesday, on excuse me, April 13th, right? All right, woo. 2022 at 9 a.m. and it's time for the Angelus. It's actually just a little bit past 9 a.m. It's 9:13 a.m. I was working and I rushed last minute to kind of get everything ready for prayer. So, Alexa, cancel. And it's time for, of course, the Angelus and a psalm. And I'm going to sit down for this. Angelus Domini Nunciavit Mariae, et concepit de Spiritus Sancto. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ecce ancilla Domini, fiat mihi secundum verbum tuum. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Et verbum caro factum est, et habitabit in nobis. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ora pro nobis Sancta Dei Genitrix, ut dignificiamur missionibus Christi. Oremus. Gratiam tuum quesumus Domini, mensibus nostris infunde, ut qui angelo nunciante Christi filii, tui incarnationem coniovimus, per passionem eis et crucia, ad resurrectionis gloriam perducamur, per indum Christum Dominum nostrum. Amen. Psalm 55 this morning. O God, listen to my prayer. Do not hide from my pleading. Attend to me and reply with my cares. I cannot rest. I tremble at the shouts of the foe, at the cries of the wicked, for they bring down evil upon me. They assail me with fury. My heart is stricken within me. Death's terror is on me. Trembling and fear fall upon me, and horror overwhelms me. Oh, that I had wings like a dove to fly away and be at rest. So I would escape far away and take refuge in the desert. I would hasten to find a shelter from the raging wind. from the destructive storm, O Lord, and from their plotting tongues. For I can see nothing but violence and strife in the city. Night and day they patrol high on the city walls. It is full of wickedness and evil. It is full of sin. Its streets are never free from tyranny and deceit. If this had been done by an enemy, then I could bear it. If a rival had risen against me, then I could hide. But it is you, my own companion, my intimate friend. How close was the friendship between us? We walked together in harmony in the house of God. May death fall suddenly upon them. May they go to the grave, for wickedness dwells in their homes and deep in their hearts. As for me, I will cry to God, and the Lord will save me. Evening, morning, and at noon I will cry and lament. God will deliver my soul in peace in the attack against me. For those who fight me are many, but God hears my voice. God will hear and humble them, the eternal judge. For they will not amend their ways. They have no fear of God. My companion is turned against me, has broken our pact, with speech softer than butter, with a heart set on war, with words smoother than oil. They are naked swords. Entrust your cares to the Lord, to God who supports you. The Lord will never allow the just one to stumble. But you, O Lord, will bring them down to the pit of death. The bloodthirsty and the deceitful shall not live half their lives. O Lord, I will trust in you. I was about to, in the middle of reading the psalm, I was thinking, you know what I'm going to do after the end of the psalm is explain the difference of reading or praying the psalms in a monastery versus what you encounter in a church on Sunday. And the Lord, I guess, decided to, instead of leaving it all to this explanation right now, is to suddenly change the modes I was reading the psalm to show you. I don't know, did you catch that? How, for example, like, typically when we read anything, right, you know, one of the things you don't want to do when you're reading something aloud is read in a monotone, or anything that doesn't attempt to express the emotion of what you're reading. You know what I mean? If you're getting mad, you know, you don't want to sound like you're docile. Well, in a monastery, it's very different. At least, you know, let me be honest with you. I'm sure this is not true in every single monastery, but I get the sense that this is, you know, the focus is not on doing that in a monastery. Let's put it that way. All right? Because this is a group of like-minded people, you know what I mean? And they're meditating and praying those psalms. It's not for public consumption, let's say. You know what I mean? Like you would do a reading of a book. You know what I mean? For example, perfect. Have you ever listened to the Bible, an audio Bible? Sometimes it can be really ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like when they try to dramatize, like the, you know what I mean? And you kind of think that's your natural inclination to do, right? You know, when you're reading something, you want to be like, okay, let me read this with some inflection. But it's an entirely different attitude toward it. It's not that you should be read it without feeling, but it's that, for example, it's like this. This is an analogy. One of the things about using repetitive prayer in the sense of like the rosary, right? It's just like we have a decade of Hail Mary, or a decade of an Our Father, a decade of Hail Marys, an Our Father, a decade of Hail Marys, over and over again, right? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why isn't one enough of each? I don't know why I'm pausing, you know, for reflection, I guess, but the thing is because when you are, this is a type of prayer where it's meditational. For example, like where what goes on in the actual saying of the words is not where all the prayer is happening during that rosary, okay? Because remember, you have the mysteries, Okay, for each, depending on which day you're praying the rosary, you have a set of mysteries. For each of those 10 Hail Marys, you're also, as you're saying those words, supposed to be kind of like, believe it or not, letting your mind shift away, which it can, in saying those words, which it can do automatically by rote, and now focusing on the mystery that you're supposed to be meditating on for those 10 Hail Marys. So does that make sense? It's like, so for example, what I'm saying is that how you sound when the words come out is de-emphasized because it's not the important thing here. And there's another type of meditational prayer that's happening. Anyway, so I started out with the way that I had the inclination to read aloud on a video like I normally do, and I tried to kind of shift partway through to a sound that was less inflected and more monastic style of delivery. So anyway, I plan to talk about these at some point today, both Spy Wednesday and the service of Tenebrae, which is, as I jokingly referred to here, Tenebrae is not a sister city of Milbrae. But honestly, I need to gather what I have off the top of my head to say right now is not enough for me. Like, yeah, I need to kind of review and educate myself to say as much as I want to say. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll talk about that later today. All right. Spy Wednesday sounds like a bunch of Bond movies on TNT or something like that, doesn't it? All right, everybody, I'm going to remind you, as I do, and reminding myself at the end of every video, to brush your teeth, to floss, and to say your prayers. And I'll see you in the next video. I love you all. And peace.